Hey guys, welcome in, welcome in. Happy Thursday. Hope everybody's doing well. Sorry, 1 minute. One minute, guys. All right, welcome in everybody. As you're coming in, please double tap your screen. Hit that like button for me. I greatly appreciate all the likes I can get. You know, if you guys read the description, then you already know what I'll be talking about today. I'm be talk about the final out of 10 escapees from the Louisiana prison. The final escapee has been caught. So yes, please, while you're coming in, please double tap that screen, or if you're on a computer, please hit that thumbs up. I greatly appreciate it. Hope everybody is doing well on this beautiful Thursday. If you would like to donate to my channel, my Cash App is pinned. Um, I want to say hello to Raw Truth. How are you, sis? Welcome in. Thanks for joining. Mr. Raven Xavier, hello. How are you? Happy Thursday. Please double tap the screen and hit that like button for me, guys. Let's get these likes all the way up, all the way up. Hit that like button. Double tap your screen. Don Pelton, welcome in. Yes, we are going to be talking about his convictions as well, but let's try to keep it respectful in the chat, not say things that, will trigger YouTube to check my channel, and my video. So, yes, your opinions are definitely welcome here, and I love the engagement. But let's keep certain words out the chat, please. But welcome in, and let's get started. It is almost 5 minutes in, so yeah, we can get started. You know, this is definitely about Derrick Groves, the last out of 10. Yes, I'm good, thank you. Welcoming to you as well. But yeah. So, hey to everybody, welcome to my channel. If this is the first time you're here, welcome in. I'm glad you're here today. Double tap that screen for me, hit that thumbs up. If you haven't, please hit that subscribe button. And of course, hit that notification bell so you know when I am live. So today we're going to be diving into a story that's been all over the news. The escape and capture of Derrick Groves, a convicted murderer from Louisiana. Hey, Jay. Thanks for joining. Welcome in, welcome in. Hope you're doing well today. It's okay, Mr. Raven Xavier. Just you being here is support. Thank you so much. I hope you hit that like button and hit the subscribe while you're here. So he didn't just slip out of jail for something small. This man that you see on, you know, if right here on my background, this man was serving time for a double murder and still managed to escape like something out of a movie. If you guys saw the news and you saw the videos and the pictures of how these people were how they escaped, it literally felt like a movie scene. You would have thought that it was a movie scene. It could have been a movie. It could be a movie. It might even turn into a movie. I wouldn't be surprised. Thanks, Jay. I'm doing well. Thank you. Thank you. But yeah, so it definitely felt like something out of a movie. So we're gonna break down how it happened, why people were so scared, and how some people actually think he should have gotten away. But I'll tell you this, in my opinion, if you do the crime, you have to do the time, period. I might be going against a lot of what people think, but especially when it's something serious, I definitely think if you do the crime, you have to do the time, period. Doesn't matter how smart your plan was or how smooth the escape looked. If you took lives, you deserve to be, behind bars. You don't deserve freedom. So let's get into some facts, and I would like to hear your opinions on this. And I want to hear what y'all think too, of course. Welcome in, Ryan, Jamaica, Money. Welcome in, welcome in. I don't think we need all black men in prison. I think if you do the time, then you do, I mean, if you do the crime, then you do deserve to be in prison. Especially if it had to do with homicide, murder, things like that. Um, but yes, your opinions do matter, so please, you know, engage as much as you want, but please keep it respectful, you know? Keep it respectful, please. Yes, does sound kind of crazy, you know? He can engage all he wants, but, my eyes are on him. Everybody, please come on in, come on in, come on in. Um, Double tap that screen for me. Hit that like button, whichever one's easier. Like I said, tell me your opinions. What you think about this? Do you think because the escape was like a scene out of a movie, do you think he should have gotten away? I could say for myself, I did say that if he did the crime, he definitely needs to do the time. But I also think if you did all that to escape, why did you stay so close to, where you escaped from? Why didn't you flee? You know? Like, I don't understand that. Like, you eventually you were gonna get caught. Come on now. I'm gonna break it down, Ryan. You heard about those 10 escapees from the Louisiana prison? He was the last one that wasn't caught. So he's been on the run for all these months without being caught. So, when you first heard about this, people were shocked that he got out or that they all got out because there was 10 of them, you know. Um, were you guys more shocked he got out, or were you more shocked that he didn't make it far? I think it's both for me. It's shocking the way they got out, and it's also shocking to me that he didn't even make it far. Yeah, definitely. It's yeah, and then the and that is not funny, but the way they got out was something out of a freaking movie scene. You know what I'm saying? So, who is Derrick Groves? To really understand how serious this is, let's start with who he is. This wasn't some petty criminal. He had a long history of violence, and it goes way back. I'm gonna start with some of his record. Um, a lot of these things are based on facts, but you know, my commentary is based on my opinions, so it is covered by the Fair Use Act. So, so in 2014, he was charged with attempted second degree murder at just 17 years old. He was um, acquitted, but it started early. In 2018, hold on a minute, guys. If you do the crime, you're gonna do the time, and you're gonna be plastered on my phone, on my screen. Oh my god, I'm trying to mute because of the sirens, and it's like it's taking forever. What are they doing? They taking forever to pass me. Well, I guess the sirens are good for the good for the topic we're talking about, you know? That's exactly what he probably heard yesterday. I mean, or when he got caught. uh, but anyway, all jokes aside, but yeah, Raw Truth says his connection goes much deeper. His grandma was unalive for no reason by New Orleans Police Department. Wow. And Ryan says, sounds like he should have got his mental health addressed at a young age. Yeah, you're definitely right about that. Well, we've been talking about a lot lately. Mental health and, that people don't get the help that they need. Yeah, he definitely needed that. But in 2018, he was involved in a Mardi Gras block partying incident that unalived two men and injured two others. In October of last year, he was convicted of 2 counts of second degree murder and 2 counts of attempted murder. Yeah, life without parole. So I guess he thought no matter what, like he was gonna do life anyway, so why not try to get out? But the question is, why stay so close? Why he didn't flee? Hey, Shalom, welcome in, sis. Hope you're doing well today. Please double tap that screen as you're coming in. I greatly appreciate it. Hit the thumbs up. My Cash App is pinned, so if you would like to donate to my channel, anything is greatly appreciated. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, he's not getting out. Nope, he is not getting out. So, but he also pleaded guilty to manslaughter in earlier cases, plus drug, weapon, and witness intimidation charges. He even had battery charges against CO while behind bars, while he was already behind bars. Yeah, facts. Don says he didn't run because he was a bad person for his actions and nobody want to help a criminal. That sounds about right too, you know? Nobody wants to be caught, aiding and abetting a criminal. If that would have came back to them, if they would have helped him or anything, that could have easily came back to them. Yeah, Ryan. Yep. So, yeah, so this man was no stranger to violence. Prosecutors have said that he showed no remorse and even bragged about it online. But you see our girl Raw Truth in the chat, she says that she thinks he should have gotten away. And she said just now that his money probably wasn't long enough for him to flee out of the country. Yeah, he should have thought about that before he escaped. I mean, but I guess if you have nothing to lose, you're gonna try anything, right? So yeah, so he's no stranger to violence. They said that he was showed no remorse and even bragged about it online. So, and honestly, that's why when he escaped, people were terrified. Bro ain't got no money if he locked up in Louisiana. So what do you think? Do you think someone with his type of history should have even had the opportunity to get that close to escaping? Or you think, you know, he had nothing to lose, so why not if he had the opportunity? Once again, if you're coming in, please hit that like button for me. Double tap that screen. Let's run these likes up. And of course, if you have a platform, please share this out. I greatly appreciate it. So here's how it all went down, you know? Because honestly, like I said, it does sound like a movie script. Every on July 3rd, of this year, Groves and three others escaped from the Orleans Parish Justice Center. They used a maintenance tunnel and ventilation system that wasn't properly secured. Jail staff didn't even notice they were gone for hours. By then, they had already disappeared. Like, how does that even happen? This is supposed to be a high security jail, and we're talking about convicted unalivers just walking out. I don't know if the girlfriend called them on. I don't know. I know I'm going to talk more about it, but I know he was still caught with weapons and 15 pounds of marijuana. So yeah, I don't, doesn't sound like he was remorseful to me or changing, but who am I, you know? So by then they had already disappeared since the jail staff didn't see didn't see didn't notice they were gone for hours. Like, how does that happen? That's where people started pointing fingers at the jail management, at the system, and at the state. So, do you think that kind of escape happens by mistake? Or do you think there had to be inside help? I think of course, there was inside help. I think there was inside help. Nah, that's nothing, right? 16 pounds? That ain't nothing. But yeah, the community had went up into a full panic mode after that. People were scared to leave their homes, schools went on alert, and even businesses started locking their doors. You know, they say you could feel the tension when this started going around the media. People were just scared because of, especially because of all his crimes, and the other convicts that had criminal reports of their own. Every night, the local news was running updates. Police got flooded with calls from people thinking that they saw him. Social media was even full of fake sightings and theories. You know how that goes. There's always, you know, social media people, content creators, news outlets that make up stories just to make the story even more intense. What Don says, well, 16 pounds is like a paper bag. And then Don said, well, at least now he is protected in solitude. He gonna be miserable for the rest of his life. So, it became a mental thing for a lot of people. People were like in constant fear. And that's the part we don't you know, talk about enough. When something like this happens, it doesn't just affect one area. It affects the mental of, the surrounding, the host, not only the city that it occurred in, but the surrounding cities. Everybody's wondering, where he's at. Of course, people are on alert. I'm sure there were many people that did see him, and knew that was him and didn't even, bother to call the authorities on him. Like, I don't know. He looked tired to me in that picture. He looked like he's been drained. The picture on my screen. Look, he got bags under his eyes. You know? Do you think that he was, you know, good on the run? Or do you think that he's relieved? He might be actually relieved that he was caught. Okay. I'll look up Kim Groves' story. So they are looking for possible accomplices, after his arrest as well. So it says that she was unalived in a notorious murder for hire plot in the Ninth Ward in 1994. Um, yeah, it says that on that she was on the other side of town. This mother, she was 32 years old. Wow. That it had to do with corruption. Let me find a better article about that. Wow. So, so she was gunned down in her front yard after Len Davis, a police officer who did side work in dealing with powder. It says that he ordered her unaliving because she knew too much. Wow. Anything I say is based on my opinion and my research. So it says the hit was ordered by, by this corrupt officer. They said that she was a good person and that the home was a, loving home. Wow. Yeah, that's sad. That's sad. So, you know, so Kim Groves, she was 32 years old when she was unalive, allegedly by a hit by Len Davis, a officer. Dang. Hey, MMG, how are you? Welcome in, welcome in. Hope your day is going well. So, yeah, the guy you see on the screen, he was the last escapee to get caught. And now he's back behind bars. Do you think because of his, let me know, the people that just came in, if you think that, he should have, fle- like, fleed far, you know? Do you think that that it's right for him to be back behind bars? What's your opinion? The community went into the panic. Do you think that the media makes situation like this worse by constantly repeating, the things that happened, that he escaped and all his crimes? Or do you think that they help by keeping people aware? No more back shot for little buddy? Really, Don? Don says that the Louisiana lifers must have enjoyed this little buddy. Little buddy had enough to Little buddy had enough, so he wanna go into solitude. It as simple as that. Now, bro is protected, so no more back shots for him. Yeah, it is what it is. I said if they do the crime, they deserve the time. you know? But yeah. Now he's locked up alone. Phew. He gotta be miserable. Um, Yeah. So after a while of, searching, police finally caught up with him. They say he was tired, weak, and didn't resist arrest. A local tip actually led police right to him, you know? So, which shows how powerful the community awareness can be, even if it did take a while, you know? So, and honestly, a part of me feels like, yeah, it's good they caught him, you know? But the fact that he was able to stay hidden that long just shows how broken the system is. There's no way somebody that dangerous should have ever made it off that property to begin with. Period. You know, like people risking their jobs to help. Help these people. Yeah, exactly. Somebody snitched on him. They say it was a tip, but obviously somebody snitched on him. You know, but it's his own fault too. You know. He stood close. He was probably feeling himself, you know. He was probably feeling himself because he was able to escape for this long. He probably was getting, loose, like, being outside more, starting, to be himself more because it's been so long. I don't know. If this happened in your city, how would you feel knowing that someone, escaped and they were free and that they could be, so close to you, and how you feel knowing that they were free for that long? Well, we already know Raw Truth thinks that he should have got away. Yeah, I think that he definitely got too comfortable. They said he was tired and weak. He was probably drained from running, that has to take a mental toll on you, knowing that you can live your life, fully because people are after you. You're always going to feel that weight on your shoulders of people, you know, on your back. You're never able to close your eyes and, sleep normal, without that constant fear of getting caught. I'm sure it is, and I hope you don't have any experience in that area. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is, right? One of the wildest parts of this is that he didn't even leave the country, or go far away. He stayed close. That's what has people scratching their heads, People are like, what the hell? If you're going to escape, why stay close? I mean, with enough money, you can do whatever your heart desires. But I guess he didn't have it. His pockets were short. And he didn't have anybody that, you know, that could help him, I guess, or wanted to help him, you know? Possible reasons he didn't flee were, that he knew where to hide and who to trust. Maybe he didn't have no resources, no money, maybe no ID, no passport. So he couldn't get far, you know. They do think that he got help from locals, people that, old associates. They think that old associates did help him move around, You know, the he probably had that fear of crossing the borders too. You know, leaving the state could have triggered different alarms. You know, people probably would have noticed him in different areas. No, buddy wanna be in the solitude. Well, I'm sure he does if especially if you know he doesn't want to be somebody's buddy. But I'm sure people in there probably be giving him mad props. Actually, you know, they're probably gonna be giving him mad props because he was able to escape. But they're gonna have the same questions like, dude, my boy, like, why the hell did you stay so close to home? Why did you stay so close to you know where you fled from? Rochuf says his mother is happy he is caught because she said she was tired of being harassed by law enforcement, coming to her house every day and watching the family every move. She said it was stressful for her. Yeah, I could definitely imagine shit. That is freaking. I don't like to be bothered just on a regular day of life. So imagine people freaking harassing me every single day because, even if you don't know, they're gonna think that you do know their whereabouts and they are gonna harass you. Probably have people, surrounding her house, watching her, going to the supermarket, following her. You know, that is annoying and not a way to, not a comfortable way to live. So, of course, she's relieved. She's relieved and now she's stress free because at least, you can say that he is safe now. I mean, I don't know how safe because he is in jail, but now she doesn't have to worry about him being unalived out in these streets, or by the authorities. Bro looks like he took a lot. Oh my goodness. That's all you talking about? Ay, ay, ay. That is all you talking about? I don't know, but it is what it is. So also sometimes people stay near their home, even fugitives, just because of, the emotions and they want to stay close to things they know, that they feel that are near and dear and, just that comfortability, you know? But here's my take, if you really did these crimes, what are you running away from anyway? You know? You were able to do the crimes easily. You must have not been thinking right or having a head on your shoulders, that you did do these things. You know, you can't outrun guilt and you can't outrun justice. Well, most of the time you can't. It was only a matter of time, especially if he didn't have those resources to get far. You know, why do you think people stay so close? Do you think it's fear, loyalty, arrogance? What do you think? Or why you think he stood? Do you think it was out of fear, out of loyalty? Do you think it was just arrogance? Because, some people get off on that, staying close to where they did their crimes, or where, they just, they get a different kind of high, from staying close to where they did wrong. What do you guys think? Why did he stay so close? Don says he literally had nowhere else to go. That probably was it. I keep looking at his picture and I just see, like, like he was tired, he was drained, like those bags under his eyes. I mean, that's what I see. And then he's not even smiling, like how some people, you know, they would have been smiling, like trying to be even more like arrogant. But he's not even smiling. He's just mad serious. Yeah, Raw Truth says he had nowhere to go and no money. Don, bro was stuck in the loo. I mean, I guess that's where he was comfortable too, with no money. I mean, if you guys are watching this on a replay, please like, share, comment. Let me know, what you guys think, why you think he stayed so close. Let me know what you think of his crimes. Do you think that he should have got away from, you know, do you think it was right what he did, escaped, and because of, the way he escaped so smoothly, you know, do you think that it was okay for him to escape just because he did get away smoothly? Or do you think because he did the crimes, he definitely deserves to do the time? Let me know. Raw Truth says, I think he was just happy to be free, even though he didn't have no plan to get far. Yeah, he probably was just enjoying. He knew that it was gonna come to an end eventually. So he was just enjoying the time that he did have outside of, prison. I could imagine he was, living it up because he knew, they were gonna close in on him eventually. Especially not going far, you're gonna get caught. Don says bro was intentionally planning his solitude. Prison is a different culture. I mean, with the life he led, though, I don't know. He got what he was asking for, I guess. So, the reactions, as you can see, are divided. You know, we're divided. Some of us think that he's where he belongs. Some of us think that he should have got away. And that's okay. That's what makes us all unique. We all have different opinions, and that's okay. We can agree to disagree. Hey, break room, welcome in, welcome in. So some people were saying, that because his escape was so smooth and well thought out, he kind of earned it. And then I saw people also saying, he should have made it farther. What the hell was he thinking? Like this was a video game or something. Like like dude, you're going to stay exactly where you know, committed these crimes? Like, what were you thinking? He should have definitely had a better plan than that, you know? He was protecting his body. Whatever you say, Don. Whatever you say. Well, he better keep that booty shitty. You know what I'm saying? Nobody wants a shitty booty. So while he's in there, he should just keep a shitty booty. I heard that's the way to stop that from happening. Everybody, please double tap the screen. Let's get these likes up. Double tap the screen. Share. Thanks for engaging. I greatly appreciate it. If you would like to donate to my channel, my Cash App is pinned. I greatly appreciate any donations. I am a new content creator. So I am not monetized right now. So any donations are greatly appreciated. So, I get it. Sometimes people are impressed by how smart or bold of a criminal somebody might be, or the criminal, how the bold criminal moves look. But let's be real, if he really did commit those crimes, he definitely deserves to be behind bars. I don't care how well he planned that escape, you know? That doesn't make him a hero, you know? You take lives, you pay for the price, period, you know? If he was out for any longer, those of you that on everybody, just let me know. You think if he was out for longer, do you think he would have committed any more crimes, or do you think he would have, turned a new leaf? What do you guys think? Yeah, but he paid them to get out, but he didn't have a plan or money to get faster. I mean, get farther. I said faster. You know what I mean? Farther? I don't know. Like I said, it wasn't a well thought out plan. You know. So the escape might have been clever, but that doesn't make him any less guilty, you know? I feel like people sometimes lose sight of that. They focus on how instead of why. How the escape looked like a scene out of a movie instead of why he was actually there to begin with, you know? Don says he's really stuck on the body thing. He says that payment in prison is with your body, not with paper bills. Laugh out loud. Okay, body, cigarettes, things like that, I guess. you know? So people definitely lose focus of the how instead of the why, like why he was there to begin with, you know? But I always say if you do the crime, especially serious crimes like what he was charged with, you know, unfortunately, that's just how it goes. It hurts to hear the truth. I mean, now that's on him. Like I said, he should keep his booty crappy. So, do people glorify criminals too much these days, or is it just fascination with how they pull things off? In this case, I think it was just the fascination of how they pulled these things off because people he's not the only one that escaped that people thought should have gotten away since they tried so hard and the way that they did escape. People think that, that they should have got away with it since it was so smooth. Raw Truth says from his community where he is from, they are saying he is innocent. Did he ever plead guilty? N- Um, did he ever plead guilty or non-guilty to the unaliving charges at Mardi Gras? But Don says, but he is the spotlight. Raw Truth says, is there any evidence found? We'll find out, right? Um, yeah, so you don't think he was guilty in everything that he was charged with, Raw? So you think that he's innocent actually? What you guys think? Let me know. Let me know. Do you guys think he's guilty or do you think he's innocent? Prior to me talking about this, how many of you guys knew about this um about his crimes and about who he was. Thanks, Break Room. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for the blessing. So it does say that Groves later that he on those manslaughter charges that he did plead guilty into two of the cases separate from the 2018 Mardi Gras double unaliving case. Those pleas were made before his escape, but he had not been sentenced yet on those manslaughter cases. The manslaughter charges correspond to the killing of Woodrow Smith and another separate victim. In the Mardi Gras case, I mean, he was acquitted, so it actually doesn't say if he pled guilty to that one. He was found not guilty by the jury, though. It is not clearly reported that Groves pleaded guilty initially, and yeah, so instead the double unaliving charges, instead they went to trial. So he went to trial and he was convicted by the jury, but it says that there's no um concrete report that he pleaded guilty. Yeah, of course he is gonna be charged for escaping, you know, and that's not helping him at all. So Raw Truth says, Don, really? You said he looks like a great, very handsome dude? I know you're trolling now. I know you're trolling now. And Raw Truth says, yeah, that she thinks he's innocent because it has not been proven he committed those crimes. But she does think that he should be charged for the escape. Yeah, so it says, I would have to actually look into all the physical, the forensics, the ballistics, DNA, and all that to see what kind of physical evidence was introduced. You know, so there was eyewitness testimonies that um that witnesses actually identified him as one of the shooters in the Mardi Gras block party. But, innocent to proven guilty, and he was proven not guilty. So, who are we? So, and also the public articles, they do not consistently list any detailed ballistics, DNA, or any of the chain of custody evidence. So I couldn't find a newspaper article or anything that says, you know, any reports on those things, unfortunately. That we will have to look up the trial transcripts to find out. But I mean, it does say that prior to the 2024 conviction, that he did plead guilty in some separate, charges. So I don't know. If he did plead guilty to other manslaughter charges, I mean, he doesn't seem innocent to me. The Mardi Gras shooting, I won't even talk about it because, like I said, he was, you know, found not guilty. But this is really, something that just, I don't know. You think anybody will ever try again to escape the way they did? Will they try something exactly like it? Like through the plumbing system and all that? Do you think there are people right now behind bars that are planning their escape? What you guys think? And please double tap that screen for me. Hit the like button. Yeah, this is definitely a serious issue, you know? Now let's talk about the remorse part. Because as of right now, they say there's no sign that he feels any remorse. The prosecutor said that he's cold and unremorseful, but that's their opinion. We're not there to see how he actually feels. We haven't had no conversations with him to see, to hear how he feels. We wasn't around him to know how he feels. Does he even, if he did commit these crimes, does it even matter? um He hasn't made a public apology, hasn't spoken to victims' families. The only thing he said after his capture was that he wanted to return where he's from. And that doesn't really sound like guilt to me. That just sounds like someone who's just tired. Raw Truth says, give him several years. I do believe he is capable of planning another escape again, allegedly. Why would he? Yeah, why would he be remorseful? Maybe because he's human? I don't know. But if he is, if he is evil and, doesn't have any feelings, then I guess he wouldn't feel anything, you know? Do you think the environment, do you think he's a product of his environment? Cuz I know a lot of stuff happens down in the loop, you know? Do you guys think he was a product of his environment, or do you think it doesn't matter the environment you grow up in, that your actions are, your responsibility? Hey Lily. Hey girl, how are you? Thanks for joining. You're not a criminal, to be honest, but no, in Louisiana there are a lot of criminals. There's a lot of unalivings. There's a lot of, you know, people trying to get by, you know, what they call the easy way, but the illegal way. And sometimes when you grow up around that, it's easy to get tangled up in that web, you know? It's okay. I was just talking about Derrick Groves. He was one of the escapees that escaped from the Louisiana prison a few months ago, and that he was the last to be caught. Um, yeah. So you're definitely gonna have to watch the replay because I've been on here an hour already. But, you know, I appreciate your support as always. Yeah, they finally caught him. Who's Roy? What? Who's that at Pops Porter? Is that somebody from YouTube? Thank you. Yeah, he definitely. Yeah, he got caught, Lily. You know, I don't know if you know his crimes, but he was charged with manslaughter. So do you think it's good? What's your opinion? Do you think it's good that he was caught, or you think that he should have gotten away with it since his escape was smooth? You know, let me know your thoughts on that. Raw, let me know who's that. Pops Porter, is that on YouTube? Where you from, Don? Are you from the South? Let me know. I like to know where my people are from. I'm from New York, if you can't tell in my voice. South Florida? All right. All right, all right. My oldest son lives in Florida, but he lives on the northern side. He lives to the north, North Florida. Nah, no, thank you. I don't want to run there. My oldest son lives there. I don't even know how. I like Florida to visit. I like Florida to visit. Let's see, cause I don't even be knowing my damn. I'm so used to it on my phone that I don't even be knowing my logins. Having these apps on your phone make it way too easy. Cause I don't even think I know my damn. I don't even think I know my freaking password. Oh, I guess I did know my password. uh, Homestead had people escape from prison. They got caught hella quick. How fast? How quick? How quick? Let's see. Pops Porter. Let's see what he said, guys.
When he first went to trial on his murder case, the jury found him not guilty. It was later thrown out. The second time that he went to trial, he got caught reading off of media lyrics. So that case, didn't stick, didn't held up at all. The third time that he went, it was a deadlock jury. It was a hung jury. New Orleans, Louisiana is the worst place that you could get a criminal charge because we are still under the French laws and the Spanish laws, which means we are not under common law. We are still under civil law that goes back all the way to the 1800s. So we are still under draconian laws. If he was anywhere else in America, he would have been free. The same exact reason why they got Corey Miller locked up. This is the same exact thing that he's been hollering since he been back there. So I'm standing on the same business. Derrick Groves is innocent. Free rule.
What do you guys think about that? What you guys think about what he just said? Did you guys hear that? Or do you think he's just one of the guys that try to be woke, you know? A conspiracy theorist. What you guys think? I don't know. I'm not easily, I don't people could say what they want, but I don't know. If I just, based off of what I'm reading and things, especially that why, all right, if he's innocent, why did he plead guilty? And Raw, sorry. Yeah, you saw that. You obviously know that I saw it. But what do you think? If he's innocent, why did he plead guilty? Oh, that's his cousin? Oh, so, I don't know. He's too close to home then. He's too close to home. But I don't know. Who, you break laws, it will eventually catch up. That's facts. Like within 6 hours of them escaping, they got caught. Damn. People escaped at TGK and they got caught the same day. Yeah, Florida don't play though. We all know that already. Are you serious, Raw? That's his cousin? Yeah, exactly. Family members will always defend you whether you're right or wrong. That's facts. That is facts. So, like I said, he's too close to the. He's too close. Give me somebody else that's not a family member. you know? Um, but now, if he did commit these crimes, of course, he's exactly where he needs to, you know, be. But who am I? I'm nobody. I'm just, reporting the news. You know, I'm just reporting my opinion and I'm just enjoying hearing your opinions as well. If you're listening to this on the replay, please let me know in the comments. I want to hear from you. I want to know what you guys think of all this. You know? Let me know. Let me know. Everybody, please hit the like button. Double tap that screen for me. I greatly appreciate it. And if you can, please donate to my channel. The link, the Cash App is pinned. Also in my bio, I have my Buy Me a Coffee link if it's easier for you that way. Look at the video caption. It says his cousin. Oh, you know, I dead was just looking at his picture and then listening to the thing. Uh, Cause I do like me some chocolate. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, but whatever. But wow. Um, yeah, that's crazy. So Don says, clap, 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 clap. We started roughly, but I like your input. Yeah, Roy always has great input on things. So now that he's back in custody, you know, of course, he's facing new charges for escape, obstruction, and possibly federal conspiracy. But this is all allegedly, you know, nothing is facts right now. These are just possible new charges. Well, definitely the escape and obstruction, you know. So once those are handled, he'll go back for sentencing in his manslaughter cases. So he's not going anywhere, not ever again. I mean, unless he makes another master plan, he's not going anywhere anytime soon, not ever again. You know, or if you like what Ross says, if he makes another plan in a few years, he'll be escaping again. I guess only time will tell, right? Yeah, he's still gonna be in solitude. How long is there a maximum that you can be in solitude? I don't know, but I'll definitely, you know, be paying attention and seeing, you know, what he gets charged for, you know, not what he gets charged for now. And yeah, I'll definitely be paying attention. So, do you think people like this ever really feel sorry for what they did, or once you reach that level of crime, remorse just doesn't exist anymore? If he is guilty, do you think, you know, he feels sorry for what he did, or once, you know, you reach that level, it is what it is? What you guys think? The prison gotta make an example. He made the jail look bad. What do Ross says? What do y'all think about him waiving his extradition rights? Do you think he made the right choice, or should he challenge his extradition rights? I mean, why do you think he waived them? We gotta hear what he said. He hasn't said shit yet. It's too it's too early to listen to these outlets that are putting things out because it's too soon. Like, how do they know everything? So, how they know everything so quickly? Sometimes, like everything that happens around and people start rumors, you can't really believe everything you hear or see right away, you know? But I do want to know that. What you guys think? What you think about Raw Truth's question, Don? I don't know why and where I looked that it said that he stood in Louisiana, but he was actually found in Atlanta, you know? Um I mean, he waived his rights because New Orleans is where he's comfortable, where he's familiar. That's what I think, you know? I think he's just familiar with New Orleans, so that's why he waived his rights. He's but that Atlanta prisons are no joke as well. So he probably heard that too. I heard that's not where you want to be locked up at. I heard. And I heard also the conditions of the jail itself are one of the worst. So that's probably actually why. Yeah, Mommy Money Getter says he's gonna be in jail no matter what. Yeah, that's a fact. But I did hear ATL's jails were very bad. Their conditions are bad. The people in there are bad. You know, yeah, so and I actually know someone on the woman's side that she was in the women's prison and she told me how bad even the women's side was. So I'm pretty sure that's why. He probably heard how bad it is too, and he's like, hell no, take me back. So now the Louisiana law enforcement has 15 days to pick him up from the Fulton County Jail. If not, the jail can hold him for an additional 15 days while a judge decides whether he can be released to them. Or be released. I'm sorry, be released in general. So if the Louisiana they don't get him, well, they already got him, but what now that we know. But yeah, if they didn't get him, he would have been able to be released. But then he could have been rearrested for the outstanding warrant. Prison is a culture. Prison is a culture. It's not a good place. Wherever you get sent, yeah, oh yeah, they're gonna make an example. They make their example. Yep. So, I'll be paying attention to any updates, what he gets sentenced with and things like that. And I'll, definitely keep everybody updated on what happens, you know. So Derrick Grove's story, isn't just about one man escaping the jail. It's about several of them. It's about what happens when, the systems fail, when people lose their minds basically in jail, and especially when social media starts to blur the lines between, reality and entertainment, you know. The people loved, they don't like the crimes, but they definitely loved the way that they were able to get out. Like whoever thought about it was very smart, I guess, but not smart enough to get away forever, you know? So now he's back behind bars, you know? I'm sure he does miss, outside. And now he's back behind that bars, especially if he's in solitude. Oh, I'm sorry. What was your other question, Raw? What do you think is about to happen? I asked, do you think there were other people living in that home where he was found, or was he living in there alone? Also, will they be charged for hiding a fugitive? I think I think that there were people there, even though they're saying that they didn't even know that he was there, but I think that there were people there. And if there were people there, that and if they find the evidence that there were people there and that people knew, anybody involved that knew where he was are definitely going to get charged with hiding a fugitive. But I guess it all depends on um it depends on the authorities, but I think so. I definitely think he didn't work alone. Somebody was helping him, you know when you escape or attempt to, you get out of population and then in a hole. You don't think anybody helped him? So what you think, he just found a abandoned house and just, that's where he hid? How would he know to go to Atlanta if somebody didn't help him? Somebody, I don't know, somebody had to help him. Because how he knew, like, how did he find a place in Atlanta? Why Atlanta? What you think, Raw? What you think about your own question? Do you think people knew? And you say you don't think anybody helped him. Tell me why. The Greyhound bus tickets were cheap. I mean, I'm sure they weren't cheap. I mean, they were cheap to other places as well. Why ATL? And then if he did, once he got off the Greyhound, how did he know where to go? Do you think that he just walked around the neighborhood finding a empty place? Yeah, but like I said, I'll definitely be watching this story. If you guys are interested just coming in, please watch the replay. And let me get your input on what you think about this case. about Derrick Groves, escaping prison in Louisiana and being on the run for a few months, and now, finally getting caught. And now of course, he's facing extra charges, and he'll be sentenced soon. Double tap that screen for me to to like the video, hit the thumbs up, whichever one is easier. Roach says, I don't think he was living in that home alone. That's a big house. So I think it was several people living in that home, allegedly. Thanks for coming in, Don. I appreciate your support. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome to the family. I talk about a lot of things going on, trending topics, but I'm also, as in my name, I'm a mom of three. I do have two older sons, so you rarely see them around. Like I said, one of them lives in Florida, but I do have a 5-year old that he's a lot of the entertainment as well, especially if I'm doing lives, walking outside with him and stuff like that. He has a big character. So, you'll get to love him as well. I thank you so much. I hope you hit that subscribe button. Um, you know, I hope you share the live for me. I hope everybody shares the live. This was a great conversation. I really enjoyed it, you know. Um, but yeah. So now he's back behind bars. We'll see what happens with the sentencing. I'll definitely keep you guys updated, you know. And if he did do these crimes, he's where he's supposed to be. That's the only fair way it can be. Imagine how the family members of these victims were feeling as well, you know. So, you know, he's where he's supposed to be if he did commit those crimes. But thank you. I really enjoyed the different opinions. I'm glad that we were able to talk respectfully, even if we did have different opinions. I hope whoever watches the replay keeps that same energy and keeps it respectful, if they have their own opinions about it. Um, yeah. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in. Everybody, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you know when I come in. Let me know in the comments how you feel about this case. Do you think justice was finally served, or are you still frustrated that it happened in the first place? You know? But yeah, subscribe for more real talk, real stories, and real reactions, and more of me, mom of three. Um, Hope you guys enjoy your day. I'm gonna start getting ready to get my little one and start my mom duties. But thank you so much. As always, I really appreciate you, and you know, thanks sis for coming in, and thanks Don for staying from beginning to end. I greatly appreciate you as well. Welcome to the fam. See you guys later. And Mommy Money Getter, thank you for coming through too. I appreciate your support always. Talk to you later.